So you guys have a really unique situation. You got Kingdom Culture here in Cedar Hill, Texas, and in California. What is wrong with how?
My wife and I were living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Lord just started speaking to us and saying, I want you to plant a life-giving church in California. 15 years ago, we moved across the country from Oklahoma to California, to a city we did not know back in 2021. The Lord was saying, I'm bringing you to the DFW. 75% of our time is here in Texas. We have a team in California.
You fly back and forth or what?
Yes, we do. And I'm actually trying to figure out what's wrong with me.
Today on the Church Candy Podcast, we are sitting down with Pastor Sherman Dumas with Kingdom Culture. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I'm happy to be here with you today.
All right. So you guys have a really unique situation. You got Kingdom Culture here in Cedar Hill, Texas, and in California.
Yeah.
What is wrong with how? And you fly back and forth or what?
Yes, we do. And I'm actually trying to figure out what's wrong with me. It's really cool. Well, we started Kingdom Culture in a city called San Bernardino, California, about 15 years ago. And so it kind of started out, my wife and I were living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I went to school out there. And after finishing school out there, the Lord just really started speaking to us and saying, hey, I want you to plant a life-giving church in a city in California. And we kind of went into prayer to figure out what city. And I actually sat down with one of my wife's uncles, and he was ragging on a city. And he was saying, I own an apartment building there. What a horrible city. They tear my buildings down. The city's going bankrupt. And I hear the Lord say, go there. I'm like, no, not the city that he's
like Jonah or Nineveh.
Go down that place. And he's like, go there. So we packed up everything, moved across the country from Oklahoma back to California where we were living, but to a city we did not know. And so we started the journey 15 years ago, Kingdom Culture in San Bernardino.
Dang. So how did that transfer to where now you guys have the campus in Texas as well?
So I had a journey where I was ministering, and I get to minister itinerantly around the world, but in this one season, back in 2021, I got an opportunity to minister out here in the DFW area. And it became, this one ministry had me like 8 times in 8 months. So every month for 8 months. And
you're like the associate pastor. That's like you're the teaching pastor.
Like literally. So while coming here, I had just this, I call it encounter with the Lord in prayer, where I felt like the Lord was saying, I'm bringing you to the DFW. And I was like, no, you're not. I'm not leaving California for anything. But he did. And we ended up maybe about 6 months later, my wife and I actually packed up us and our 5 kids and moved from California and started being based out here to start the journey of planting an additional campus out here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And so now what does a week look like? What does a month look like?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. So the majority of our time, I'd say about maybe 75% of our time is here in Texas. But at the same time, we have a beautiful team that's serving there in California that helps to really lead the way with the day-to-day items. My wife and I do a lot of the training, the development. We do a lot of meetings that are happening virtually. And then we're there maybe once to twice a month physically. And so that's kind of what that rhythm looks like. And so the team there is doing most of the teaching and preaching with the preaching team there. And then we're doing a majority of it here in Texas. So
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so how often are you guys going back and forth?
So once to twice a month we're there, and it's fun because we've got this really cool rhythm that like kind of the wind brings us in. We're full with trainings, development, meetings, and all of those things supporting the team there. So
yeah, man. You kind of mentioned like I'm in this season trying to figure out what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And kind of in the long term of the future, kind of like where do you see it going?
Yeah, well, we definitely see us still keeping with that rhythm. We actually have the hopes to open up additional campuses, really from Kingdom Culture. The first opening day, January 10th, 2010. I remember getting up before the congregation. I was like, welcome to the first campus of Kingdom Culture. It was only one campus, but we knew then we would do multi-site. At one point in time, we had literally 5 campuses across Southern California, in Compton, California, Pasadena, California, so on and on, Temecula, California. And so we see ourselves expanding more into other campuses as well, and just really raising up teams to help lead the way in those particular places. It's beautiful that as we started out here, we had at least 12 or so that were on that original team that moved from California to be a part of what's happening here in Texas.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to see it happen.
Yeah. So looking back, planting this new campus in Texas, what would you do differently throughout that process?
That's a question. I think part of what we really do is, if I had it my way, I would have slowed down the pace a little bit, and just to create maybe a little bit more intentionality as it relates to those that we were bringing on to the team. It just kind of took off so fast, and it's a good thing to see fast growth and see fast development. But I think in the future cities that we're going to spend a little bit more time groundwork wise, and a little bit more intentionality with the team.
Yeah, building a foundation.
Yep.
Getting that set.
Yeah.
And so you and I getting connected with church camp, how did that come about? What made Saul reach out to us?
I was actually at a conference, and while I was at that conference, a friend had a conference, and then you guys had a representative there. And so back then we were kind of thinking about, were we going to really fully plant? How soon were we going to plant? And so during that time, I told the representative that day, I was like, hey, so I'm going to reach out to you in some months. And I'd already seen some things, saw some ads that had already run through. So when I saw them, that I was like, hey, I'm going to lock in. So we're getting close to the time, and we actually got super close to the time of launch. And I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm ready. Let's make it happen. They're like, when are you doing it? In like a month. Like, so can we?
Yeah, 30 to, yeah, and that's like,
Yeah. And so, but the experience has been absolutely phenomenal.
yeah. So it was a process like launching and us helping you
Yeah.
people in the doors.
So as we were progressing forward, we had put a lot of effort in, like thousands of door hangers and things of that nature. Did a lot of outreach and word of mouth, but really it was the system of Church Candy that helped us get, I would say, from the time when we launched in October to now, 60% of our first time guests are coming from our Church Candy ads.
It's awesome.
And so it's been phenomenal to be able to connect with people. And it's almost like they say, hey, it's almost like you're haunting me. Like, we keep seeing you over and over and over again, or like we're not ghosts, we're not hunting you, I promise you. But we have this statement that we make in our team, like the ads are adding. So that's one of our things that we say constantly. We actually just met someone this past week. We were out doing an outreach in something we call Love Week. And every day we were going out into the community, doing a particular outreach, serving the police, serving the fire department. And we went to serve health workers and went in, and I was like, hey, we got some gifts for you guys. We're from Kingdom Culture. We were like, we can't stop seeing your ads. And so the ads are adding.
Yeah. So it's cool that you say that. We're really intentional when we build that out, right?
Yeah.
I'm someone, I get sold things I'm bad now. Have you seen the meme where it's like, oh, like me, whenever I have adult money or whatever?
Yeah.
This is like, and my wife gets on to me about it, because if I see an ad, I'm like, I think I'm going to get that. And it might take a while,
Yeah.
but like for a while, I'd gotten on this big like sunflower seed kick, and I loved sunflower seeds, and I kept seeing these ads for this like Smackin' brand, and it was like every time I turned around on Instagram, on TikTok, I just kept seeing them. And then I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna get some. And then I got a variety pack, ate some of them, and I was like, these are fine. And now I still have some sitting in my pantry, haven't even opened. But I tell that story to say, like, they were constantly following me online, and that process, it's called retargeting. Like, once they saw that I was interested because I watched one of their videos past a certain threshold, or I went to their website, and now I'm like locked in their algorithm, and they constantly show me their ads. That's why I love doing that for churches, because once someone goes to your church's website or watches one of your videos, you can constantly retarget them with more ads. Invite them to the church. You know how people over spiritualize? I'd be like, oh, Pastor Sherman, I knew God was calling me
That's
here.
exactly what they say. It had to be God. Like, it kept coming up. So yeah, that's like the regular thing.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, like all we're doing is planting seeds and just letting the Holy Spirit work in their heart, and wait for them to actually come in. And so it's awesome seeing some fruit from that. Do you have any like specific stories of people that got connected with your church from the ads and God's done some cool things in their life?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember one particular partner, her name is Tracy, and Tracy said that she had seen the ads come in, and first she was like, "Ah, no, I'm not going." Then she said the ad comes again, and she's like, then it comes again, and she's like, "Wait a minute, maybe I should check this out." And so Tracy comes, and when she comes, she says, "Hey, you know what? My life was transformed because I came into a place where I understood that what God had placed inside of me was not just for the church walls, but I was supposed to impact the culture around me." And so that was awakened inside of her. The vision, the goals, the dreams she had inside of her found a place where she could actually go and be activated to function her gifts. But it didn't just stop with Tracy. Tracy's grandmother ended up coming to the church as well. And it's beautiful to see her grandmother and granddaughter worshiping together in the same place. And to be honest, they have been great inviters and bringers. All of this coming from ads, but Tracy consistently, even just this morning, I saw Tracy as we went out to do Love Week and to serve a local school. And so she said she had never done anything like that before, but now she's walking in purpose, changing lives because she saw a church candy ad.
So she saw an ad on Facebook and Instagram, decided to check your church out, and not only God's made a difference in her life, now she's going and making a difference in other people's lives.
Yes, without a doubt.
Man, that's so cool. We're always working behind the scenes, and so we don't. Me and my team, we don't always get to see the fruit of what God's doing. So that's why I love sitting down and hearing stories like this. And so, back whenever you guys first launched, how many people did you guys have there your first Sunday?
Our first Sunday, it was absolutely ridiculous. So, our first Sunday, we had to turn away 100 people. Our facility, we can jam pack. We can get 300 folks in there, and so we were jam packed 300, but they had to turn away 100 individuals. So it was wild to see that happen, and so we ended up sending out messages and putting out on social media like, try us again. I promise you, probably won't be as crazy the next week. But it was wild to see how many people were able to impact a brand new campus in the city that we weren't in before. So
Man, that's so cool to hear.
yeah.
Uh, and and then so once you guys get in the rhythm of church planting,
Yeah.
about on average, do you know about how many new faces you guys would see from
Yeah.
the ads?
Yeah, from the ads, from any given Sunday, we are seeing anywhere between 15 to 20 brand new first timers that are
That's
coming in.
huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, that's super impressive.
Yeah.
And so, um, it's one thing to have new people walk in the door, right? But
Yeah.
what are you guys doing once they show up? How do you get them to come back again?
Yeah, yeah. The follow up is everything, and I actually have a friend who at his church connects with you guys too. His name is Ken, and Ken Bennett. And one of the things that Ken said was, "Hey, Sherman, follow up is going to be the key." And so we are so major with making sure that we're connecting with them afterwards and building that relationship and saying, "Hey, we would love to be able to come in." I think one of the key points is Ken was telling us this, and so was Elise, our account manager. She said, "Hey, that personalized videos is going to be everything as you're communicating with them." And so people will come and they'll be like, "It's me. You sent me the video." And I'm like, "Yeah, you and a whole bunch of other people that I sent these personalized videos to." But it makes such a difference because it takes it from just the automation to the place of them saying, "Hey, I really feel like I'm not just a number. I'm someone who's seen." And so that's what we work hard to do in the process, is to make sure that they don't feel like they're a number, because they're not. Every number represents a person, and every person represents a story that God wants to change. So,
It's so great. This is like a full circle moment for me, and I don't even think you realize this. So before we first recorded, I was telling you about how I actually lived in Cedar Hill for a while.
yeah.
I actually served at Pastor Adam McCain's church, One City Church, or it used to be Church on the Hill, but
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
while I was going to CFNI, I was serving there.
Wow.
And I was playing drums on Sunday, and one Sunday my family came in town. My parents, they visited, and they filled out a Connect card.
Wow.
And the next day, my dad gets an email from Pastor Adam that says, "Hey, Billy, I just recorded a video for you."
Yeah.
And my dad, like, he's been in ministry for years. Like, he's like, "Oh, this is probably," he's like, "This is probably just a video they send to everyone after they visit."
Yeah.
And he clicks on it. And I don't know if you've ever like met Pastor Adam, but he's super,
I have.
super like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Billy, what's going on? We just want to say thank you for visiting. Brady, who plays the drums from CFNI, man, he's amazing." I had maybe talked to Pastor Adam once. Like, I was their CFNI intern that was playing. I didn't have a relation. But he was like, But what it was is my dad was like, wow, and my dad made a huge deal of that to me.
Yeah.
He's like, Brady, like your pastor sent me this video. I was like, he's barely my pastor. Like I love Pastor Adam. Him and I talk now today. But the fact that like he would go out of the way and do that, uh, and that's where we kind of got the idea from, and that's why we tell every pastor that we work with now, like, hey, send a personalized video like that. Go, and we got that kind of from Pastor Adam.
Yeah.
What's big about it is you're saying people's name and they feel seen and they don't feel like they're just a number because there's power in the personal, and it's so cool. You guys seeing that a lot and seeing the fruit from it.
Yeah, we are, and people feel connected, and they feel like we're already friends. So as soon as they come in the door, it's like, it's me. You sent me a text, and it's like, yeah, I did. And so and it's cool to be able to build those relationships and to see people who started off strangers, because of the opportunity they have and the personalization of the connection, they now have become family.
Yeah. So what kind of people are you seeing? Is this like transfer growth from other churches? Are you really reaching the lost? What have you guys seen?
It's wild because a lot of the people that we are connecting with are people who actually have given up on church. And so it's not the idea like they were going somewhere else and they're coming over. A lot of them were just Christians that were kind of sick of church and wanted to just kind of, maybe I'll give it another try. Maybe I'll try it again. And as they've tried it again, it's been phenomenal to see them get connected heart to heart and to now say, hey, you know what? I'm committed to this thing, and I wanna be a part of something bigger than myself.
Yeah. There's some older pastors out there that'll always give me critiques in the Facebook and Instagram comments, right?
Yes.
On like what happened to preaching the word, or like what it.
Yeah.
And so what would you say to people that are hesitant about investing into digital outreaches like this?
Yeah, I think it's so key that you realize that everybody's online right now. So with all of the apps and all of the things that are out there right now, they're right there. You have a captive audience waiting to connect. And so, yeah, preach the gospel, and that's the thing that's going to keep them coming, because the crazy thing is you could do all these ads and you can invest in it, but if you're not giving them a product that they're going to connect with in the first place, they're not coming back to your church. So I think the key is jump in there where the people are, and I think this cuts off a lot of you having to do some of the things that we thought in the past would work, and that kind of thing. Like me and my wife were talking the other day, and we're like, we're not doing any more door hangers ever in life again. And all of our campuses before, we have done a lot of our launches, it's always been with door hangers. And she's like, no, what Church Candy has done, and the connections that it's made, this is all that we're doing. So like we're getting ready to move towards, because we're like 80 to 90% full most Sundays. And so we're getting ready to launch a second worship experience. And so we're getting ready to now redo all of our stuff and start running ads towards that, because we know the people are right there. So let's just reach them.
That's huge, man. That's huge. So there's a lot of pastors that are hesitant about working with Church Candy. I mean, we don't work for free. Like all of my team, like they're here in America. Like they love the church. They're vested bought in. I had someone comment once, it's like, you're charging money for this? Like this should be a gift to the Lord. It was like, look, man, I'll work for free, but hey, Dustin, will you work for free? No. So my team, like, so I can't. I was like, look, man, I might work for free, but I got people on payroll. So, that means that we don't work for free. So like I know it's an investment, but like, what would you say to a pastor that's like considering Church Candy?
Yeah, it's a worthy investment. I would say that, like, don't see the number and see, oh my God, I can't. Like, you should figure out a way, get with your team, figure out how to organize things in a way to make this investment, because the return that you're going to get on the other end, it's going to blow your mind. If you think about it just from metrics sake, if you get enough people in who are committed to the house of God and committed to the Lord, and they're sowing, you're going to, even from a financial basis, you're going to get that back in your investment very swiftly. So it's important to make it and to really lean into it.
That's huge, man. Well, love the kind words. Love all of that. I've got to ask. I know you guys said you have your Love Week. Is that with the hood?
This is about,
So tell me about that.
This is new merch that we just released. This is No Greater Love merch that the team just put out this coming week. But yeah, and everything's connected towards awakening our entire congregation to pay attention to who's around them. And so one of our things right now is that love acts. It doesn't just see, but love acts. And so when you see something happening around you, are you going to make a difference, or are you going to do something about it?
That's sick, man. I love it. I love it. Well, look, I want to do something kind of special. I didn't warn you about this beforehand, but I want to ask you some questions that my team can clip
Yep.
and use as ads to
Yep.
promote kingdom culture.
Sure.
Right? I've found that some of the best performing ads don't look like ads, which is why I'm gonna take some of the things you said. I'm gonna clip them up, use them for ads for church candy. It's all to do the same thing for you. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you questions about the church,
Yep.
and you just share like you're trying to invite people without like trying to invite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So talk about, hey, if you're lost or if you
Yeah.
feel broken and you want to be a part of it. So answer kind of like that for the person. Got it?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So your church in Cedar Hill, tell me about it.
Well, our church of Cedar Hill was developed and created to be able to be a safe place for people to come and meet God. One of the most amazing things about our church is that you're not just experiencing a service, it is literally a worship experience where you encounter the presence of God. And through that, you get transformed, and you can be a part of transforming the lives of others.
So what's something that people like about your church in Cedar Hill?
That we're so focused about reaching the community. We're so focused about going out and seeing people's lives change beyond the four walls. And I grew up in church, so I've seen a lot of church all 43 of my years. And so to be a part of something that people are committed to saying, hey, no, I want to make a difference in culture. I want to use the gospel that I have received that has transformed my life to connect with somebody next to me and see their lives transformed.
So where and when do you guys meet?
So we meet right now Sundays at 10 o'clock a.m. is our worship experience time. And we meet in Cedar Hill, Texas, in the heart of Cedar Hill. And we love Cedar Hill.
Sweet. All right. I'm going to answer that again, but do you have the times locked out for once you do two services?
Yes.
All right. Answer it again, but with your two service times and so your account manager, we'll just know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we meet 9 and 11 on Sunday, 2 opportunities for worship experience for our early risers and those that want to sleep in.
All right. Cool. So we'll know what to use that. Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Do you have any other advice or things that you would want to give either your younger self or other church planters and pastors out there?
Yeah, I would. I would say to anybody that's watching right now, I would say that it is so key to operate and think from the place of innovation. There are so many patterns and so many things that you can follow. I've been to many church planting conferences. I've been to many, many gatherings, but allowing Holy Spirit to connect with you and innovate how you're doing what he's designed for you to do is going to make a difference, because it is the distinction of what you carry as a church. It's the distinction of what you carry as a minister that's going to be able to really cause for the people that's connected to your DNA, to your church's DNA, to really connect and to grow to the next level.
Yeah, man, that's huge. A thing that you hear a lot in churches is, oh, well, we do it this way because that's the way we've always done it, right? And that's why one of our core values is mission over method, because like if you don't innovate, you're gonna die. And that's why you see so many churches in America that are dying, that attendance is dropping. You have pastors leaving ministry every single year. That number goes up and up and up. And innovation is huge in the church in every aspect of life. And so incredible advice. Well, man, if other pastors or church planters they want to get connected with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Probably the best way would be the gram. So Instagram, and on Instagram, I'm at Sherman Dumas TV. That's where you can find me. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's gonna do it for today's episode. Man, thanks for taking time to come on out here, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.